Remembrance Day is observed in Canada and other Commonwealth nations, which include 53 member states, nearly all of them former territories of the British Empire, on November 11th. It carries much of the same meaning as America's Veterans Day. Celebrated since the end of World War I, Remembrance Day actually marks Armistice Day, the day on which the hostilities between the Allies and Germany ceased on the Western Front. Remembrance Day, also known as Poppy Day due to the symbol of the remembrance poppy, is a day observed in Commonwealth member states. Countries such as Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom observe Remembrance Day on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. At 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, the guns on the Western Front fell silent after more than 4 years of continuous warfare. The Allied armies had driven the Germans back, having inflicted heavy defeats upon them over the preceding 4 months. In November, the Germans called for an armistice, or suspension of fighting, in order to secure a peace settlement. They accepted Allied terms that amounted to an unconditional surrender. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month attained a special significance in the post-war years. The moment when hostilities ceased on the Western Front became universally associated with the remembrance of those who had died in the war. This first modern world conflict had brought about the mobilization of over 70 million people and left between 9 million and 13 million dead, perhaps as many as 1/3 of them with no known grave. The Allied nations chose this day and time for the commemoration of their dead soldiers. On the first anniversary of the armistice in 1919, 2-minute silence was instituted as part of the main commemorative ceremony at the New Cenotaph in London. The silence was proposed by Australian journalist Edward Honey, who was working in Fleet Street. At about the same time, a South African statesman made a similar proposal to the British cabinet, which endorsed it. The tradition of Remembrance Day evolved out of Armistice Day. The initial Armistice Day began at Buckingham Palace, with the king hosting a banquet honoring the French president. Later, during World War II, many countries changed the name of the holiday. The U.S. chose Veterans Day. Remembrance Day in Canada, known as Jour du Souvenir, remains a statutory holiday in 6 of the 10 provinces. The Armistice Day Act, which was held throughout the 1920s, declared that Canada's Thanksgiving would also be observed on Armistice Day, the Monday of the week in which November 11th fell. The government, in 1931, officially changed the date to November 11th. The name also changed to Remembrance Day. Canada has declared that the date is of remembrance for the men and women who have served, and continue to serve our country during times of war, conflict and peace, particularly the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, and all conflicts since then in which members of the Canadian Armed Forces have participated. The official Canadian national ceremonies are held under a strict protocol at the National War Memorial in Ottawa, Ontario. The armed services representatives carry out a service. In May 2000, the remains of an unidentified Canadian soldier who died in France during World War I were laid in the tomb of the unknown soldier at the National War Memorial. On This Day event is an educational project. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.